Hello students, I am Sunil Ranjan and I am an English teacher. Now, in this session I am going to give you the summary of chapter 21 and 22 of the book The Story of My Life written by Helen Keller. So, here I begin. As Helen Keller comes to the final chapter of her book, she tells readers about her early experiences with reading. She first read when she was 7 years old. There were only a few books in raised print, which Helen read repeatedly. During her visit to Boston, she was allowed to spend a part of each day at the institutional library, where she moved from bookcase to bookcase and took down whatever her fingers lighted upon. When she discovered the book Little Lord Fauntleroy, Miss Sullivan read it to her, and the book became Helen's sweet and gentle companion. She loved the book Little Woman because it gave her a sense of kinship with girls and boys who could see and hear. She also loved the Jungle Book and Wild Animals I Have Known. She was fascinated by Greek literature, and it was Iliad by Homer that made Greece her paradise. To her, great poetry did not need an interpreter, but a responsive heart. She was greatly impressed by Macbeth and King Lear among Shakespeare's works. She read the Bible with an over-broadening sense of joy and inspiration. She said she loved it the most. Helen also loved history in addition to her love for literature. Swinton's World's History was the first book that gave her and enlightened her about the value of history. She liked the French writers Molière and Racine. She loved literature where she felt her senses were deep in. Now coming to the last chapter's summary and continuing further, it was not only the books and reading that Helen enjoyed. She loved to get involved in outdoor activities like swimming, canoeing, and sailing. She had her heart in nature. She loved trees and believed she could hear their sap flow and see the sun shining on the leaves. She enjoyed moving out with her friends for rowing. She mentions an experience when she was caught in a gale on a sailboat and talks about the excitement and fearlessness she felt as the crew struggled to keep the boat afloat. She talks about the time spent in the countryside, especially at Rantham, and contrasts the peaceful, simple life of the village with the glamour, hectic pace, and discontent of the city. She writes about one Mr. Chamberlain from a charming, lovely little village in New England who got her interested in the mysteries of trees and wild flowers. She expresses her shock at the difference in the lives of the rich and the poor in cities, as well as the squalor and filth in which the poor live. She wishes they would return to the simplicity and honesty of the countryside and live noble, happy, and content lives. She also describes her enjoyment at riding a tandem bicycle and her walks in the woods with her dogs. On days when she was forced to stay indoors, she describes her enjoyment of knitting, crocheting, reading, or playing games like specially designed chess or Chinese checkers. She always enjoyed company, especially of young children, who she says was unconsciously and had no difficulty interacting with her. She enjoyed visiting museums and stores with her mother and found that she could understand the emotions and feelings of the sculptor by touching the carvings and statues. Apart from this, Helen enjoyed visiting the theatre and meeting the great actors and actresses after their performances. In the end, she mentions that though she was forced to live in a dark, silent world, she did not let it depress her, as she had learned to be happy with her life. So this is the end of the summary of the novel, The Story of My Life. And I hope students you understood what I explained. And in the form of summary, I told you the entire story. And so I hope you understood it very well, because then you will be able to write very well in your examinations. And if you have subscribed to my channel, it's okay. If you haven't, I suggest you to subscribe to my channel so that in future you get to know more and more. So thank you.